for those of you guys who don't know, or maybe don't run red dots, or on the off chance maybe there's a Josh out there who just doesn't own an AR with an optic and you've never experienced it, or who knows. So if you have an astigmatism, shooting red dots is kind of crummy, because it's like looking at a car headlight in the oncoming lane. It's all bloomy and rayy, and it looks like you have all the video game effects turned on.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. If you don't know that you have an astigmatism, you will learn that you have an astigmatism if you put your face up to a red dot.
Yep, new procrastinator, starburst for the win. But I still think it's a valuable thing to have, regardless of the fact. One of the things that we talk about ad nauseum and at length on the Tundra Nation live stream, and formerly the Tundra Talk live stream, is the defensive use of firearms, and it's something that I have learned a lot about my own knowledge. Like, I used to think, as a guy who sold guns to the general public, working retail for, God, I've worked in the retail side of the firearms industry for almost a decade now. Actually, probably a little over a decade now, close to. I thought I was kind of getting to the point where I was pretty knowledgeable, but I didn't know about stuff like that. It's all these little nuances. There's so much stuff to learn in this industry, that regardless of what you think there's always you always have an ability to learn something from somebody else. Regardless of whether you think they're right or wrong. Now, granted, there are people out there that are just absolute idiots. I mean, people actually buy Taurus G2Cs. People actually, I'm kidding. I had to say it.
Hey, I had the second guest I had on this show was Black Diamond Guns and Gear. Mm-hmm. And let's be fair, they legitimately put that G2C.
They did. Yep,
through
they did.
a 4,000 round test with zero malfunctions.
It's too much of a meme, though. I gotta do it.
You gotta. It's the high point of guns without the actual high point.
Yep, it's a meme. I gotta run it because that is our MO. But regardless of how much you think you're always going to learn something from somebody else. You just got to listen. And that's kind of my closed circuit to some people out in the chat tonight, is you got to be willing to listen and understand where people are coming from. The person that I am in real life, and you guys see this on the live stream, like, you guys understand that there's two different versions of me. There's kind of the idiot that I play on TV or on YouTube, and then there's kind of the real me, where I don't always succeed, but try to represent myself in a somewhat more professional manner. I've been doing this professionally, the firearms industry in one way, shape, or form professionally for about 11 years now, because I started kind of getting my feet wet in the industry about a year before I took the dive into the retail world. And so when you work retail in any industry, you very quickly just kind of get to the point where you can say, okay, I might not have seen it all, but I've seen about 95% of it, right? That's just retail in anything. Tech world, electronics, right? Firearms, car sales, doesn't matter.
And it'll be in anything. Any job that you do, even. You could be a welder, you could be this, you can be that. You're going to have the same thing. You're going to get to a point where you've seen 95% of it.
Yeah.
But it's really amazing when you look at it, though, and I think I know where you're going with this, is that 5% that you don't know can be massive.
It can be massive, but the God's honest point, and real quick, Crazy Eyes, great point. He says, Taurus G2C, meh, at least it ain't a Sky. I agree.
Hey, but at least Sky are available right now.
True. Maybe that is indicative of their quality, though.
Yeah. It's, people are willing to spend $200 on a pistol. But
I'm not really going so far as to say like that 5% is massive. It might be dependent on your circumstance or your case. But the social ability and skill that you can learn from developing the want and ability to listen and understand other people's perspectives, that's the massive gain. Because that allows you, let's say you're in my position 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, I decided to become a firearms trainer. And I don't do it much anymore, but for a year and a half, I did it somewhat consistently and had a lot of fun with it. And believe it or not, we live in a world where the idiot from Tundra Tactical can actually teach people how to shoot guns. Believe it or not, folks, I do have at least the inclination in my head that I have somewhat of an idea of what I'm talking about from time to time. And I tried to impart some of that experience. We won't call it wisdom, but maybe some of that experience onto others, to a modicum of success. Hashtag vocab. But one of the most valuable experiences I got from teaching was I actually learned probably more than I taught. And I think that a lot of teachers out there will tell you that that's one of the more valuable experiences that they've had is just based on either ignorance, different experience, things that are said in those classes, something clicks. And like you said, it's that big moment or it's that big thing that clicks. But the real valuable experience that you get is you get the ability to listen. As long as you're not egotistical, as long as you're not power hungry, as long as you're not so dead set.
Sorry, Dickie B literally just goes Voda.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, if you like to shoot yourself or the people around you, go ahead and watch Voda.
Yeah, go ahead and watch Voda. But in regards to the training aspect, your goal as a trainer, if there are any future firearms trainers out there, my advice to you is your goal should be to learn more from your students than you're teaching, so that you can become a better teacher. Don't discount an opinion just because it's not the same as your own. Don't shit on somebody because they don't know as much as you do. They're coming to you because you're a fucking trainer.
Right.
They're not supposed to know as much as you do, but every now and again you'll get a guy that knows more than you do, and you need to acknowledge that, and you need to use it as the resource that it actually is, and not let pride get in the way. One of the downfalls of a lot of the dudes in this industry, and even some of the gals, but mostly the dudes in the industry, is pride gets in the way of a lot of our ability to effectively convey information to either our audience, our students, or whomever decides that what we have to say is valuable. I still can't figure out why people think what I have to say is valuable, but hey, we're passing 56,000 subscribers on the channel soon, and the writing's on the wall. Apparently, there are people out there who like what I have to say, or at least the way I say it.